98% of them never visit Israel, and 90% don't even know where is Israel in the map. So they think they can afford to express strong statements, but they have no clue about Israel. So if you could somehow put Israel as it is, in front of these people's eyes, what would you present them with?
So I can only say my own view and my own perception of it. When I think of Israel and when I live here, when I meet people, I see good people, sincere people trying to raise their families, trying to get along, trying to collaborate, trying to make a good place in this beautiful, blessed land that has been so fruitful, so blossoming, and so fortunate that we have so many good people here. And it's like we said earlier, it is always possible, no matter where you are. I don't care. You can always find out things to complain. And I myself, I do this no less than anybody else. You can always find things to, I complain about this person treats me like that, or this attitude, or this policy, whatever. But to look at it as a whole forest and to see, look, these are good people. These are my family. These are my nation. These are Hashem's people. And even when someone doesn't agree with you, which is sorry to say, that's just going to happen.
Which happens very often in Israel.
But to take it with, and I'm talking to myself how to relate to these experiences, to not to get upset, to be kind of relaxed about it, to take it with a human sense of dignity, not to put other people down. And I know that's much easier said than done, and I'm no way perfect at it, but that's what I see. Just for example, I'm going home. I have this is today. I have groceries that the taxi driver is bringing me home, and I actually caused him a delay. And then I said, "Oh, you're upset about that? I wanted to pay you." And he said, "No, don't worry about it." And then when we got driving, he said to me, "Oh, we're having this conversation as we go. We were talking about family and where do you live?" And he said, "Look, we ended up being friends." Because he told me I'm having a very tired day. I'm having a lot of nerves, but that's the taxi driver who I've never met. And then when I'm going up, normally, if I see an older person who's trying to bring up groceries, so that's my job as a younger person to help them bring up, which I'm happy to do that. Any person in my shoes would do that. But then when I'm bringing my groceries in, there's a lady, not necessarily elderly that it would hurt her, and I told her to stop, that she shouldn't do it, but she's insisting. Someone who's a neighbor is helping to bring up the groceries. What kind of experience is that? This is, but that is the most commonplace thing, and that's an understatement about how people treat each other in Israel, who are family. There's people who are devoted to defending the borders, to securing the streets, the police force. The people who are learning and davening. There are people who are rabbis. There are people who are raising their families. Everybody has such a role, and I don't want to neglect everybody. I don't want to neglect any important role that I'm not mentioning, but to appreciate everybody, I want to do this. I should appreciate everybody's role, our family, our neighbors, everyone in the country, and Jews around the world, and our fellow human beings to treat with dignity, because we're all in this together. So we have to make up what kind of a journey it's going to be. So that's part of what I think when I think of Israel. And in terms of people who are very critical, so obviously to be safe, if a shul needs security protection, so unfortunately that's a need in many scenarios. But anybody who can be supportive of Israel and even move here, it's a great privilege. It's a great blessing to live here. And wherever you live, there are challenges, but I definitely want to be encouraging and offer support to people who are living here or thinking about living here. And it's really, it's a wonderful blessing. People just 100, 200 years ago, if they could dream what we have today in the Jewish world, especially in the land of Israel, is unbelievable. It is, they would say,
yeah. I would say even with all the issues, it would still be a privilege and a blessing.
Yeah, that's true. Our ancestors, not long ago, they would say, "What? You have this going on? You have that in the land of Israel and Torah? You're living in the times of the Messianic times." It's an incredible opportunity that we have. So, feel very blessed.
Yes. They could say you are living the dream. What's the thing that the media hides about Israel that you would like to show, like anything from day-to-day life or anything, let's say, on the political spectrum, because they keep manipulating and distorting Israel's image. So how can we go about sorting it out?
Right. I agree with you, and I know that's a very big problem, and it's very unfortunate to see that Israel is held to a double standard. It always has been and always is. Other countries, I do like to mention, other tragedies that are going on, or other victims of violence and murder and unspeakable crimes that people don't raise up their arms in protest to defend them. But when Israel defends itself against organizations who are, committed to terror, committed to violence as a way of life, and the like, it seems like there's a double standard that it's not pleasant for anybody to experience that. We don't like to be judged. Nobody likes to be judged by a different standard than someone else. So if Israel's criticized for defending itself when others, when people remain silent, when others are committing genuine atrocities with malicious intent, so that's very hard to deal with. But the second aspect, I think, is and I don't like to say this, but there's maybe people have a need to blame somebody. I mean, if there is a problem in the country with the economy, or with people are not doing well in terms of their welfare and health or livelihood or anything, it's always easy to blame it on somebody else. So I don't have to say, I don't have to be a scholar of history to say that very often the Jews are the scapegoat, and it's very easy to blame. But if we show an example, what to do about it, I think that was a big part of your question. If we show that, look, we are a people of fairness, of dignity, of reason. When you meet someone one-on-one, because if a person meets and say, "Wow, you're the first Jew that I met," or "You're the first religious person that I met," if only all Jews were like you, or if only all religious people were like you. So what does that show? It shows, so I'm very, you could say to yourself in your mind,
you made it to the end. Well done. If you are interested in the full episode, click here. Or if you want to watch other episodes, click here. And if you want to be notified of the upcoming episodes, click subscribe. Thank you.